Addiction, how to quit smoking, drinking, or overeating for good. How hypnosis can help you overcome your destructive behavior. Do you want to know the gritty truth about addictions? They're the sneaky shadows creeping into our lives when we least expect it, promising a quick fix to numb pain or escape the chaos. Or you could come out here or any trail. If you wake up feeling anxious, angry, or addicted, it's likely because you are trying to numb an old emotion that was never processed. Whether it's smoking, drinking, or overeating, these habits are merely an attempt to feel better. They're just attempts to feel better, to quiet the storm that's raging within us. But here's the kicker. Instead, it becomes a vicious cycle, a habit that is damn hard to break. I know I had a bad drinking habit for quite a long time. Addictions aren't just about seeking pleasure or avoiding uncomfortable situations. They're deeper than that. They're about filling a void, perhaps, soothing an old wound, escaping chaos, and silencing the voice of insecurity that echoes in the backs of our minds. There's more Johnson grass. Okay, that's okay. It can be here too. Horse mint, lemongrass, or no, not lemongrass. What am I talking about? Horse mint. There's also another name for it. Hypnosis reaches into the recesses of the subconscious to shift your perspective on deep-seated issues so you can break free from the hold that they have on you. So where do addictions come from? Okay, here it goes. As children, we were born connected to our source of power, guided by our instincts and intuition. But as we grew older, guess what happened? Self-doubt, low self-esteem, and self-worth and beliefs contradict our true nature, and they take hold fast. Fast forward a couple of decades, we find ourselves as adults stepping in the ant piles. Adults that are disconnected from that truth of us, our true selves. And we're struggling to find our way back. But hopefully your path is relatively clear and you can find your way back. Where's my house? So when life gets tough, we feel overwhelmed or lost. Sorry about the sound of blowing papers. There's no way I could memorize all of this. So when life gets tough, we find ourselves overwhelmed or lost. What do we turn to? You know? Maybe it's a drink. My neighbor built that wall. There's no way I could do that or want to do that, but he wanted to keep me out, I suppose. When life gets tough, we feel overwhelmed or lost. And what do we turn to? We turn to a drink, a smoke, a hit, or maybe even binge watching a show that lasts until dawn. But these habits offer only a temporary relief from that relentless tug of war inside our heads. But the relief is short-lived, and soon enough we find ourselves back in the same old cycle, craving another hit, another fix, another escape. So this had there was a hole there. I thought it was maybe a snake hole, but now the hole's filled in, so I don't know, that's interesting. Anybody know what that is? Okay, back to the script. Why is breaking an addiction so hard? After years of addictive behavior and thwarted attempts to quit, it can be hard to finally break those compulsive behaviors. Why? Well, for starters, addiction messes with our brain and it hijacks those pleasure centers, rewiring our neural circuits until we're hooked and craving that next hit, like our lives depend on it. Oh, and let's not forget to talk about shame. Shame is a sneaky little devil whispering lies of unworthiness and failure into your ears, keeping us trapped in a vicious cycle of guilt and self-loathing. Don't let that happen to you. There's some other kind of grass and more Johnson grass. Okay, so what I do is I come out here and I take the heads off of it, right, so they don't seed. That's kind of what I've been doing by hand now for all this time. That's my neighbor's place. 5 of them live in that little house, and one of me in the house that's not twice as big, but probably 30% bigger. Sort of feel guilty about that sometimes. By the way, I didn't throw these seeds, they just showed up. When you just stop tinkering with stuff and you just let the seeds that have been waiting in the soil until it's the right situation to come out, they do. So I just left it alone for a few years and didn't mow it, just let it rest, and then I started mowing sections and honestly did not put any wild grass seed or native grass seed right here. This was all just right there waiting for the Johnson grass to kind of take a break. So it's pretty amazing. And all my neighbors mow. They could have beautiful, waving, peaceful grass for the birds and bunnies to hide in, but they're obsessed with mowing, so I guess that's some old English custom we brought over. Okay, back to the podcast. The good news is that you don't have to stay stuck. Oh darn, I stepped on that snake thing. I'm so sorry. You don't have to stay stuck. We have the power to rewrite our stories, to reclaim our lives from the clutches of addiction. It starts with facing our fears head on, owning our mistakes, and taking responsibility. It's about saying enough is enough and daring to believe that we're worth more than the sum of our past mistakes. Sure, breaking free from addiction won't be a walk in the park. There will be obstacles, like me dealing with the wind here, setbacks and moments of doubt along the way. I know, I've been there. Look, a milkweed. Look at that. I did not plant that, it just showed up. But guess what? All of that doubt and all those negative emotions are part of the journey. It's about embracing the messy, imperfect reality of life and learning to roll with the punches more. And hey, we don't have to go it alone. There are people out there who've been where they are and have come out on the other side stronger than ever, like me, or maybe like you. So let's ditch the shame, drop the excuses, and start living life on new terms, your terms. It's time to take back control, one brave step at a time. Because when we're finally free from the chains of addiction, we'll discover a whole new world of possibilities just waiting for us on the other side. And it'll be worth every ounce of effort that you put into it. Part 2 will be how hypnosis helps you to break free from the destructive behaviors. I'm Valerie Grimes. Thanks for listening.